Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you watched the previous few episodes of the Lakehouse Build series, you would have seen us building the first floor walls, as you can see in the background here. If you haven't seen those episodes, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the playlist to find them. In this episode, it is all about the concrete front porch. We start by framing up the exterior forms. We want the concrete to extend beyond the styrofoam ICF foundation, so I use some 2x6s on the flat to provide that extension. I also use some 2x6s vertically on their side to give the slab a 5.5-inch thickness. I grab the rotary laser level and set it up so that I can ensure the vertical 2x6s on their side will be at the same height all around the perimeter of the porch. I can then use the receiver set on top of those 2x6s to dial in the height. With the form set in place, I can drive stakes into the ground to further strengthen the form and help maintain that vertical height all around the perimeter. I then drive in some stakes further back that will be used to brace 2x4 kickers and further strengthen the exterior forms and lock it all in place. At the end of the day, this needs to hold back a lot of concrete, so I like to overbuild it to ensure there are no issues. We continue to build the forms around the perimeter, setting it into place and then driving in the stakes and kickers to lock it all together. This section has a bit of a bump out where the front door is, so we have to adjust the forms accordingly. With all of the forms built and set, it was time to move on to the rebar. We will be building a 12-inch by 12-inch grid of rebar to help strengthen the concrete slab. I start by measuring and using spray paint to mark the 12-inch increments so that it will be easier to make up the rebar grid. Once we have all the rebar laid out and cut to length, we will come back and use wire ties to bind it all together. It will also get tied into the vertical rebar that is coming out of the foundation that is bent over. I use an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, and it makes quick work to cut the rebar. I want to isolate the concrete slab from the wood structure, so I use a 1-inch rigid styrofoam and put that over top of the zip panels. Not only does this isolate the concrete, but it will also be used to establish the height and finish grade of the concrete. I can use the screed board on top of this styrofoam to screed the finish. With all of the styrofoam in place, I use the blower to clean out the forms in preparation for the spray foam that I will use to close up any of the minor gaps or cracks so that no concrete will leak out of the forms. It is concrete day, and the truck arrives on time, and the driver was amazing. He even jumps in to help at various times, as you will see. He was just great. We start by getting the right number of chutes on the truck so that it can reach the far corner for the initial section that we start at. The concrete comes down the chute, and then it is a mad dash to spread the concrete out as evenly as possible. The key is to let the chute do the work so that you are moving the concrete as little as possible. Once we get a section done, we jump back and screed it smooth with a 2x4. It's here where the driver jumps right in and helps pull some of the excess back without even being asked. This is a true professional. With the concrete screeded off, I pull out the bull float and make several passes to smooth it out and get a nice finish. We will eventually finish it off with a broom to give it some texture and grip. With the initial pass on this section done, we can move on to placing the concrete for the next section. I had created a couple of 2 by 2 foot boxes that I was going to fill up with concrete if we had any left over. I bent some rebar into a ring that I will embed into the concrete and use them as anchors in the water for the dock or sea-doos. I continue to float the concrete in order to get it as level and smooth as possible. This helps knock down any high spots and fill in any low spots. I quickly hit the boxes with the float and then set the rebar rings into position. I use the edger tool to give the edge a bit of a round over that helps fill in any voids and strengthens the edge. This helps protect it from any potential chips and just gives it a nice finished edge. Now that the hustle of the job is over, we have a nice chat with the driver and thank him so much for all his help. He is a real professional and just an overall great guy. Catherine grabs the sawzall without a blade and runs it along the form in order to try and prevent any voids in the face of the concrete. I clean off the float and hit the surface one more time before applying the broom finish. This will help bring some of the cream to the surface, which will give the broom something to work with. I grabbed a long board thinking I could put it across the edge to the front door so that I can finish the section I can't reach. I then realized I can climb in through the window by the dining room on the far right side. The next day, we were able to remove the forms and take stock of our hard work. I really like how it turned out with the broom finish, and the lines look nice and straight. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. This is where I'm going to end this episode. Come back and check out the next one as we continue the Lakehouse Build series. Please drop a comment below, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.